sights to see, rolling hills or city streets, ocean to ocean and all in between. It's out there just waiting on you and me. So look alive, 'cause while I was waiting for you, paradise is on the other side.
Welcome to Unreasonable, put on by the Jacksonville Civic Council. Interesting interviews from Jacksonville's most iconic entrepreneurs, CEOs, and wonderful success stories. They do things that are unexpected, unreasonably, in order to make their own change. In each episode, you'll meet passionate change makers who are rewriting the rules and daring to dream bigger for their community and our city. My hope that their stories ignite something in you, that you'll be inspired to reimagine what's possible and lead with purpose in your work, your life, and right here in Jacksonville. You're going to really be inspired. Welcome to another episode of Unreasonable. I'm your host, Josh Martino, and a proud member of the Jacksonville Civic Council. Our guest today is Dr. Moez Limayem, president of the University of North Florida and a member of the Civic Council as well. Moez, thanks for being with us today on Unreasonable.
Josh, it's an honor to be with you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, let's dive right in. You've said that UNF should be a top 100 university in the U.S. Some might say that's an unreasonable goal. Tell us why you believe that is possible.
Yeah, I honestly think it is possible. And the reasons I think it is possible because the ranking that we are pursuing to be the U.S. World News and Report emphasize several metrics, like for your graduation rate or 6-year graduation rate, retentions, ratio of faculty to students. And these are absolutely the measure of student success and faculty success that we are pursuing. And usually the reputation lags a little bit behind the performance. We're going to show our region, our state, and the country how wonderful and how good this university is, and the extent to which we take good care of our students, our faculty and staff, and our community.
Well, I believe it too, and you are you and the university are crushing the statistics in the face of tumultuous times, some would say for upper education. I believe you have the largest freshman class in UNF history. Tell us more about that and the retention rates. I mean, where you stack up against your competition.
Absolutely. Everybody worldwide actually is speaking, and especially in our country, speaking about the demographic cliff, where the expectation is for all enrollments in higher education will decline. Well, we proved that wrong at UNF, and as you so well mentioned, Josh, this fall, we broke so many records, good records. Yeah. We have the highest enrollment in the history of UNF, undergraduate, graduate. We have the highest or the largest incoming class in the history of UNF. With we're 3,170 students stronger. Also, we broke the history of the transfer students transferring in to UNF from state colleges and graduating in 3 years, at least 3 years. That's another record. But the record I'm most proud of with my colleagues is the retention. A few years ago, Josh, our retention was not where it should be. It was really in the low 70s, and we had to work really hard. And I'm just so thrilled now to report that our retention is at the highest level ever been at UNF, and we're about 86%.
Wow.
And that's incredible. That's really incredible when you see we are retaining in just a few years, 86 compared to low 70. The faculty and staff and the friends are just doing something really right, and we're very proud of that.
Absolutely. With a national average closer to 50%.
Absolutely.
86% is astounding. So there's obviously some secret sauce over at UNF that incoming freshmen, people visiting the school, and then the current attendees, faculty, staff, administration all feel and have bought into to make it as successful as it is.
Absolutely. And Josh, something that I'm really, really even prouder of is the population that we attract to UNF. So I just mentioned 3,170 students. 39% of them, almost 40%, are Pell Grant eligible.
Wow.
What does that mean? To be Pell Grant eligible, you have to be at the poverty level or below. For probably many of our listeners do not know what is the poverty level. That's 15,000 approximately per year for one person income. That's about 21,000 for a family of two. That's the students we attract. These are our students. They come to UNF with very unfavorable financial conditions. And you know what? They graduate, and they graduate with jobs, with competitive salaries, so that they change their lives, the lives of their families, and they become great members of this great community. That's what really makes us going every single morning. Another similar statistic is about 35% of these students are exactly like me, first-generation college students. What does that mean? It means no one in their immediate family has a college degree. No parents, no sibling has a college degree. They are the first. Means no one in their immediate family they can go to for insights, advice on curriculum, on advice on career, or even sometimes just simple early adulthood challenges. No one in their immediate family to help them. You know who is that family? That's UNF.
UNF.
That's us, and that's something that we don't take lightly. It's something that we're very proud of.
Well, you seem like the right person at the right time to lead this charge because you definitely have experience with world-class universities. What led you on your journey from Tunisia to Canada, Hong Kong, Switzerland, Tampa, all building up to landing here in Jacksonville?
It's a long journey.
Yeah.
It's a long journey, and I'm very proud of this journey. So as you mentioned, Josh, born and spent my early years in Tunisia, that's in North Africa, to amazing parents. Unfortunately, I lost them a couple of years ago, and 7 other siblings, so big
Wow.
family. My mother was probably one of the smartest people you'll ever meet, and but she never went to school. Her job was to raise us and take good care of us. My father was elementary school teacher, and then he was assigned to be the principal for an elementary school in a very poor city in the center of the country in Tunisia. And I remember vividly, Josh, when I was about 3-4 years old. Of course, it was very poor city. We did not have running water. We did not have electricity. And when I tell that to my kids that we did not have Netflix and Wi-Fi, they don't understand what that
means.
That means. But it really was. So we had one oil lamp and candles. That's how we spent our nights. And I remember very vividly, my father every school night will take the only oil lamp that we have, and to give at the end of the day pro bono tutoring to the 6th grader to prepare them for a national exam that will determine if they go and move on their studies or they stop there. And of course, as young as I was, naive, I always told my father, why are you taking our oil lamp and leaving us with candles? And he repeatedly, consistently said the same thing. These students, these kids, need it more than we do. They need it so that they can move on with their education, so that they can change their lives, the lives of their families, and be great citizens in their community. So what he was teaching me at a very young age, the value of education in changing lives, the importance of being student-centered, the importance of student success. So for me, it's a family affair. I grew up with this, and fast forward, went to college in the capital, Tunis, for undergraduate, at the college called Institut Supérieur de Gestion, which is a premier business school in the country. And I also remember the very first day, orientation, the dean came to us and said, guys, some good news and I have some bad news. which one you want to hear first? Everybody said, give us the good news. So I said, good news is we have a scholarship to the U.S. for graduate studies, full ride, everything paid for, including the airplane tickets, the school, the stipends, everything. It's like, wow. It's like, okay, what is the bad news here? It's only one. And we were about 3,500 freshmen. So I looked at my friend, right, I just met, and they said, I'm going to work for this, for a scholarship. Luckily, I got the scholarship.
Wow.
Still had fun. Enjoyed my years, but a scholarship came to the U.S., University of Minnesota. That's where I got my MBA, PhD, but Minnesota was not cold enough for me, so went to Quebec for my first job, and few years in Quebec, became at a very young age a department chair, probably the youngest department chair in Canada at that time. Then met my wife and got married and moved to Hong Kong. Hong Kong was a great experience. Our son was born in Hong Kong. He, still have his T-shirt said "Made in China," and I keep telling him now he's costing us more money because of the tariffs. But we had great years in Hong Kong, discovered Asia, and then moved to Switzerland. Always in academic leadership. Spent few years in Switzerland, and now I hope our listeners would not laugh because from Switzerland we moved to Arkansas. So we spent 5 years in Arkansas. Our daughter Sarah was born in Arkansas, and we did the studies there. And what we found is that when we were 3, my wife, our son, and we became 4 because Sarah was born. We did some research, and what we found is that when Sarah was born, the Tunisian community in Arkansas increased by 40%. We were 3, we became 4. Okay. So 5 years in Arkansas, then moved to USF, Tampa, for 10 years as a dean of the College of Business. And August 1st, 2022, landed at this great university, wonderful community as the president of UNF. So sorry, it's a long story.
No, but it's a wonderful story.
Just,
something that stands out to me is the impact your father's experience as an educator had on you, and your ability, to your credit, at a young age, to let that impact sink in. And to say to yourself, this is something I would like to emulate. This is something I would even like to improve upon or turn my career into. There's a lot of people where that knowledge maybe stays latent until later in their life, and then they pursue it. But it sounds like you made it your life's mission because of an admiration for your father's commitment.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's probably the person that impacted me the most in my life. And the passion he has for education, the passion he had for his students, the integrity with which he conducted himself in the classroom, outside the classroom, as a father, as a teacher, and just his beliefs about the value of education changing lives. That really impacted me. And I really knew very earlier on that education is my calling. My mother told me is that when the kids in the neighborhood, actually we used to go out and play in the neighborhood, she said the kids will be interested in more playing, soccer, different things. But I was always insisting them and putting them in circles and lecturing to them. They hated it, but I liked it. So that's you're absolutely right, Josh. The education, the value of education, being student-centered, is something I grew up with and impacted me a lot from my father.
Like some of your predecessors at UNF, you're deeply engaged in the community, serving as a board member of the Civic Council and a Chamber of Commerce trustee. Why is civic engagement important to you and in your capacity at UNF?
Thank you. That's a great question. I think it's crucial. It's so important for our university and for our community. And I want to really stress, it's not a random thought. We made, when I landed here more than 3 years ago, we developed, and I insist on a great vision and a strategic plan for our universities. And we had many strategic pillars and priorities. Community engagement and community partnership is one of them, and one of the most important strategic priorities. And going back to exactly what we said earlier is that our city, to be vibrant, needs this vibrant university. We are an incredible resource for the universities, but if we're not present at the highest level, president and VPs, we're not there. And in our world, we all say, if you're not around the table, you're part of the menu. So we don't want to be, that relates
that.
very
Yeah,
well
exactly.
to
I know
what
exactly
you do,
what you mean.
Josh, right? So we don't want to be part of the menu. We want to really be a great partner for our community to make it better. The best compliment that my friends in Jacksonville give me, say, when they say, Moez, we see you everywhere. That's really my best compliment, because that means that we are doing something right. I instructed every member of my cabinet, all the VPs, to be involved in at least one or two boards, nonprofit, in our community to help the community be better.
Well, that's a great segue to really the title of this podcast, Unreasonable. We always ask, our guests, what's something that you've had to do or a strategy that you've had for the university or yourself or your staff or students that's been unreasonable in order to get some of these things accomplished that have been, barricades in the past, right? That you've been blocked off from achieving these goals. So tell us how you've been unreasonable.
Yeah, and I love the title of the podcast. The theme is being unreasonable, because most human beings are afraid of being unreasonable. They're afraid to get out of their comfort zone. But I can assure our listeners, nothing good will come out of a comfort zone. Going back to my own personal life, setting a very unreasonable most people would think crazy to get one scholarship out of 3,500. And then when you get it, you go. English was my fifth language. Go there with to start a graduate school with native speakers in a brutal climate, very cold. That was very unreasonable. The way I managed my own life, and I really recommend this for all our young listeners who hopefully will be very successful leaders, is to always set an unreasonable goal for 5 years. It's like, okay, in 5 years, what will be my unreasonable goal? And work hard. And you would be surprised, you will get it. And I always had this. And why do you think a kid who grew up without electricity and running water is now the president of just one of the best universities in the country? It is because of these unreasonable goals that I set for myself. Same thing for UNF. We are setting unreasonable, audacious goals. We want to grow to 25,000. When we started, barely 16,000. We want to have a retention of 90%, one of the best in the country, while we started at 70%. That's unreasonable.
Yeah.
We were at, I think, 160, and we want to break to top 100. That's unreasonable. When I had to present our strategic goals and strategic plan to the Board of Governors that oversees all state universities, I started with a quote, and always repeat, I love this quote. And this quote illustrates what it means to be unreasonable. And what it says is that the biggest risk for most people is not to set high goals and not achieve them. The biggest risk is to set low goals and achieve them. So that's what being unreasonable for me is, setting these unreasonable goals and doing everything you can to get them. And you know what? If you cannot achieve your unreasonable goals, don't change the goals. Change the strategy how you get there. That's very important.
Absolutely. Well, with such a journey, behind you now and plenty of runway left, there had to have been a time where, you may have lost hope, or you were challenged or frustrated or scared even of what was next or what would be. I think it's important for people to hear that, after all the success you've had, and people who see you where you are today, to understand that it didn't come without its challenges. So tell our listeners, maybe an example or two of some of those moments along the way.
Absolutely. I really remember very well, just something that I will never forget. Minnesota. Now remember, Tunisia is Mediterranean weather, very like Florida, second. And I didn't know what to expect. Went with just light jackets and everything. And I remember I had to walk and cross what we call the 10th Avenue Bridge to get to campus in Minneapolis. And one night, I was going back from studying to my apartment. It was so cold. I really did not think I can cross that bridge. It was so bad, and I didn't have the clothes. That night, I said, I'm done. I'm going to my apartment, getting my suitcase. This is not for me. I cannot make it. But then remember the unreasonable. I remember also, Josh, being in my MBA class, especially the first few weeks. The professor will be talking. I don't understand a word. The professor will say a joke. Everybody will be laughing. I just laugh not to appear stupid.
Right.
I remember once he said something I really thought it was very funny. I laughed very hard. I was the only one laughing. So these are really moments that you say, you know what? What am I doing here? But this is where the unreasonable should always prevail, and having that goal and persistence and not changing the goals, changing the strategy is really important. The same thing, when we collectively at UNF and came and said our retention should be 90%. And that is probably top 3-4% in the country. Well, the average is 50%. People really thought I was crazy, honestly. Some told me I was crazy. Many thought it, but did not say it. But you know what? I'm reminding the team now. Imagine we were reasonable and we put our goal for retention at 85%. We'll be done now. And we would be stuck there.
Right.
We'll be celebrating there. That's where I think being unreasonable, and it's not easy, I have to admit, really it's not easy. It's there are so many, I call them bozos and clowns, that will come to you and say, hey, you're crazy, don't listen to them.
No.
Don't listen to them. Continue, be unreasonable. Get out of your comfort zone. Have that unreasonable goal for 4 or 5 years, that you set it for yourself. It's not for your parents, for your partners, or for your friends. Set your own unreasonable goal and do everything you can to achieve it. And look at me. I went through 4 different continents to achieve my unreasonable goal to be a president of a great university. The road is not always a straight line. The most important thing is to achieve your unreasonable goal.
Absolutely. So 5 years from now, you wake up, you walk to the end of your driveway, you pick up the Florida Times-Union, and UNF is on the main headline. What does it say?
It would say UNF is the destination of choice. And then the article says it's the destination of choice for students from different backgrounds. They go to UNF before they even think about other universities. A destination of choice for faculty and staff, the best, so that we can retain them, we can attract. The destination of choice for employers from all over the region, the state, the country. They come to UNF before they go anywhere in different disciplines. Destination of choice for philanthropists, where they go and they invest their wealth and their philanthropy in UNF, and they see the best return on investment on their philanthropy. And last but not least, the destination of choice for our legislators. And our state university want to be a destination of choice where our legislators continue investing in this great university and see the best return on investment.
Well, I hope to get a copy of that that paper in 5 years. We'll
reserve
frame it and put it in the office.
It will be in high demand.
That's right. Well, I just want to say thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Unreasonable. Thank you for your commitment to young people to education, to this city. You're doing the work, and the people you lead feel it with your enthusiasm, your efforts, and we're grateful to have you in the Jacksonville community. So thank you, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Josh. You really are an amazing leader in our community. You make these podcasts incredible for not just the people you're interviewing, but also for all the listeners. And, we talk about all these records and how wonderful UNF is. And I tell you, it's not the president. It's a great team of faculty, staff, and great friends like you and many other leaders who believe in this university that make things happen. So thank you for having me.
Oh, well, thank you. And thank you, everyone, for tuning into this episode of Unreasonable. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you at the next one. Thanks for joining us on Unreasonable. Look for us online, follow us on social media, and wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Ocean to